There, everybody. Okay, I'm going to do a quick follow-up to this is exercise 5.1. So pull that up. If you're looking at this in 2019 of spring, it would be the week 8 one. So pull up your homework on that one and compare what you have with what I have and pause as necessary. Okay, I've already kind of done this one, so this is going to be quick, and then I'm going to show you a student's, a sample student one as well. Okay, so this is the second one. I had modeled the first one already. The various components of ABCO's current profitability, particular growth in Asian markets, will be highlighted in our report to demonstrate its advantages versus competitors. Revenue returns along several dimensions: product type, end use, distribution channels, distributor type, etc. will provide the basis for this analysis. Likely growth prospects for ABCO's newest product lines will depend most on its ability in regard to the development of distribution channels in China, according to our projections. A range of innovative strategies will be needed to support the introduction of new reports. Okay, first of all, that's really hard to read, isn't it? But unfortunately, this is very typical of the way that people write often in the business world, and it drives me crazy, and it probably drives a lot of people crazy, including people in the business. But some businesses are probably more successful because they promote clear communication. We're probably not going to be able to clean this up completely because there's so much I think you could do to this to make it clearer. But let's just do, the idea. Let's recall what the idea here is. It's that you want to, the principle of cohesion, not coherence, and they're a little different. Sometimes they seem to conflict to me, is that you want to start sentences with old information and then move to new information. And again, this is a general principle for the whole paper. Start with the familiar and move to the more difficult or the more complex. So what I already did here was, sort of wade my way through this thicket of jargon, really, and I found our report, and then notice that we have this analysis. Well, this analysis is the report. So let's get those together. So if we go down here, I did it like this. To demonstrate ABCO's advantage versus competitors, the various components of our current profitability, particularly growth in Asian markets, will be highlighted in our report. Okay. And now, so I got our report at the end. And then, well, the analysis is the report. So let's get that at the beginning rather than just throw it at the end, because that's very confusing. So now we put it at the beginning and we have this. This analysis, the report just mentioned. Okay, so now we have that at the beginning. Now we go back up here and we have distribution channels here, and then we find that we have distribution channels exactly the same words here. So let's get this at the end of this sentence, distribution channels, and this distribution channels at the beginning of that sentence. And so that's what I did, so that we get this. This analysis will be based on revenue returns along 7 dimensions: product type, end use, distributor type, and distribution channels. The development of distribution channels, so see how the topic of this paragraph is narrowing. After it mentioned several dimensions, it's narrowed down, it's zoomed in on distribution channels. So you want to emphasize that. The development of distribution channels in China will offer the likeliest growth prospects of ABCO's new product lines. Okay, so again, so now we have our report leading to this analysis, then we end with distribution channels, then we start with distribution channels, and then the thing we notice here is that we go back up here and we see that somehow this is tied to growing product lines. That's what our goal is here. And then we see that we have new products down here. So look how bad that is, that this is talking about growing new product lines, and yet we don't get the new product idea till the very end of the last sentence. So we want to get that up front, and we want to get this new product lines at the back of that sentence. So again, that we link the end of one sentence to the beginning of the next. And so that's what I've done here. I moved, so then I get this. The development of distribution channels in China will offer the likeliest growth prospects of ABCO's newest product lines. All right, you might want to pause it and study all the rearrangements I did in the sentence. I'm not going to go over them like I did with the original one, in the process to see that I already did them. But you can stop the video and study how I did it, okay, and got those there. and then the next sentence starts with the new products. These new products will need support from a range of innovative strategies. And then I wasn't sure. I came up with some others. We will need support. I did that even though that moves this here because just to get a little more humanity in it, right? We will need to support these new products. To me, with a range of innovative strategies, that's like, plain talk, Or you could even turn this last sentence to just into a phrase, and then it would be like this: the development of distribution channels in China will offer the likeliest growth prospects of ABCO's newest product lines, which will need support from a range of innovative strategies. I think I actually like the middle one the best. We will need to support these new products. Like, hey, okay, now that tells us what we need to do. Let's do that. So that somebody reading this can actually turn it into an action. Okay, so there. If you need to, pause, compare what you did with what I did, and I'm not saying this is the only way, but double check. Stop now and spend 5 or 10 minutes looking over your answer and compare it to mine. Okay, and see how it worked. All right, now let me just show you this one here. This is one of yours, and I think this is a good example of really, internalizing and trying out these ideas. So this student, one of your classmates, was working on this. So I'm going to read his original paragraph, all right? At no time in history has the media been able to reach the amount of people it can in an almost instantaneous amount of time. Film, television, and social media, including Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, provide users an up-to-the-second updates, what was the little problem there, on important as well as irrelevant issues as requested or not. These platforms have an incredible money-generating power along with an influence that our culture has never had before. The relationship between gender and these media platforms perpetuates an unrealistic ideal of the stereotypical woman in terms of behavior, physical appearance, and reasonable treatment and objectification. Okay, so then he exploded that. And then, to see what he did, I'm going to go down here and notice that he ended with instantaneous amount of time, okay? And then, well, where is that here? Well, we have up to the second there, okay? And then he ends with the list of this stuff, okay, right here. And then he starts with the reference to them again, these platforms right there. And then that ends with generating power with influence that our culture has never had before. He leaves that there, and in fact, it looks. And so then he moves these media platforms there because that's what he's talking about up here. He moves that to the front. Let me show you. I'm going to try to do what he did here. I mean, just to kind of show. So here, see, he moved up to the second. Let me see if I can do that. Well, just look, just actually, maybe I'll do it down here to show. Okay, so see how I highlighted that stuff. Now let me show you where all that comes down here. All right. So here we've got here. I'm going to up. So notice how. Here, I'll underline it. There. Notice how he ends with instantaneous amount of time and starts with up to the second update. So he kept that there, but he moved this to the front. Then we go to the end of that sentence and we see that it's about all these social media. Okay, he ends with all this stuff: film, television, Facebook. Well, what are those? Those are platforms. So see how he ends with the platforms and he starts with the platforms. So what did he do? He moved this stuff here to the end. So it would be right in front of these platforms. And then he mentions those media platforms again there. Now that's a good example probably of the next idea that we did in the next one about topic strings, so that the whole thing is maybe about media platforms in a way. It's actually maybe, we could probably analyze the paragraph a lot more, because notice it kind of takes a turn, that the first part of the paragraph is about the power of these, and then he narrows it to that power focusing on how gender is represented. So really what happens here at the end of the paragraph is that we have a new topic coming in. These media platforms and the relationships between gender perpetuates an unrealistic ideal of the stereotypical woman in terms of behavior, physical appearance, and reasonable treatment. I would probably actually say that's a new paragraph. Like that would be great. Like what I would do is I would probably move that there, because now we have a new paragraph that does what? It creates a bridge. Okay, well, he's explained the media platforms, and now he's going to his next topic, which is the way these media platforms perpetuate an unrealistic ideal of stereotypical woman. Yeah. So then, and then he's ready to move on to the next topic, or to probably his real topic, which is that. So there, that's one of your classmates did a very good job, and I think if you pause the video again and read his original up here, and then compare it with this revised version, you'll see how much easier it is to understand what he's talking about here, because he links up the new old. He goes from old to new, old to new, old to new. And so that the reader can follow the line of thought. And that's what we actually mean when we say, make it flow. So, you've always heard, I wish I could make my writing flow. Well, this writing flows. The dangers we've seen is you can sometimes link old to new, old to new, old to new, but there's no central topic. You can wander all over the place that way. And there's good examples of that in the style book, but of doing it wrong. But so the challenge is to link up like that, but at the same time keep a clear topic, so that every paragraph has a clear topic, and this one does. It's about the power of the media, and then the next paragraph is going to be specifically about how that power is creating stereotypical images of women, and he can do that. All right, so look over. This is doing no good if you don't have your old week 8 out and are studying it and comparing what you did. And that's where the learning takes place, folks. It's not on doing it the first time. It's on doing it wrong, struggling with it, and then looking at how somebody else did it or whatever, and then trying it again. And that's how things begin to click. All right, have a good one. Take care.